Okay, so first we initially chew our food in our mouth. In our mouth, we have a stratified squamous epithelial tissue because all the abrasion of the food. So the food, as we chew in our mouth, we secrete saliva, and with saliva, we break down some sugars, and we lubricate the food. And then from the mouth, well, in the back of the mouth, you have the uvula, which prevents the food going up to the nasal, the nasal pharynx. So then that food moves down to the trachea. So the first esophagus. So initially, the first 1/3 of the esophagus, we still have a stratified squamous, but then as you move down, you have a simple columnar epithelial tissue.
And then the muscles.
And then you have 2 muscles in the esophagus, right? Actually, the first 1/3 portion of the esophagus, you have skeletal muscle, and then as you move down the latter part, it becomes a smooth muscle.
What kind of motion does that create? Peristalsis?
Yeah, peristaltic waves. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that assists the food moving down the esophagus. So then after the esophagus, it enters the stomach through the cardiac sphincter.
Yeah.
Cardiac sphincter. Where's the stomach? This one. All right, here we have the stomach. In the stomach, proteins are broken down,
Yes.
primarily, and also in the stomach we have an extra layer of muscle. Do you know that layer? What's it called?
It's called the oblique layer.
Oblique layer,
And
which
the purpose-
helps the food circulate more and churning more. Is that it for the stomach? Okay. So from the stomach, it then leads to the small intestine through the
Pyloric sphincter.
pyloric sphincter. So the first portion of the small intestine, we have the duodenum. Histologically, we can differentiate that because it has Brunner's patches,
Or glands.
Glands.
or glands actually. And then from the duodenum, it leads to the jejunum. And then finally, the third and last part of it is called the ileum. And then we could differentiate that histologically because it has Peyer's patches, which are patches of lymphocytes. Okay? And then from the small intestine, we have... What's that sphincter?
Colon.
I don't know, but what's the...
It terminates at the ileocecal valve.
Ileocecal valve.
Enters the cecum.
Enters the cecum, so that's the large intestine or the colon. So the first portion of the colon is the cecum, and then it leads to the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and then down here that has the sigmoid colon, and then it goes into the rectum, and then the anus, and then that's basically
What kind of epithelial
does the anus have?
of the large intestine?
Isn't
Goblet
it?
cells?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. You could differentiate the small intestine and the large intestine because the large intestine has a concentration of goblet cells.
And then
What's the
at
function of the large intestine?
The large intestine, it absorbs water, and it also is where fermentation occurs. The bacteria help us fermentate. The cellulose, you said, right?
Yes.
Food. So plant product, and then
What kind of epithelial in the anus?
you have a stratified squamous epithelial for abrasion, and then in the anus, you have 2 sphincters, right? You have the smooth sphincter, right?
Internal and external.
Yeah, internal and external. The external one's the skeletal
Muscle.
muscle one.
Why? What's important about it?
That one, so you can control when you go or whatever.
what goes in, what goes out.
Yeah, and that's the digestive tract or whatever.
Nice. Great job.
Good job.